I just can't believe it. Today is the day. It has officially been 1 year since the release of Riders Republic, and Mitch and I are going to recap the game's first trip around the sun. We're going to be touching on the highs and lows of year one, and we're getting ready to look ahead to what's next. Welcome back to the Riders Report.
Before we get started today, we want to recognize our existing YouTube members. A special thank you goes out to executive producers Bone Crusher 2D, Coach 34, and my mom, and our fans and Fans Plus.
If you'd like to become a member for as low as 99 cents a month and help support our channel, you can hit join below to learn more about perks like early access to the Riders Report, emojis and badges, a members only video per month, sneak peeks, and more.
On Friday, we received a new community update from Ubisoft on Riders Republic. The post is over on Reddit and linked down below. They give us an update on Stadia, with Stadia closing and what will happen to Riders Republic. They also brought some information about a season reward, the anniversary of Riders Republic, and they teased a little bit of what's to come in the future. But we'll be talking about that in the main topic, where we also discuss our feelings and thoughts on year one. This weekend, we also had TFG Director Mode, our Riders Republic video edit competition, where we had 9 riders show their best video edit in the game so far, and it was so close. Go watch the episode for yourself. We're not going to tease the winner just yet, but check it out and then vote in the fan vote. We'll be announcing the winner of that next week.
Well, I don't think this needs too much introduction. It's pretty straightforward on what we're doing today. We are celebrating the official 1 year mark of Riders Republic. It has been on our consoles for just over a year. I believe October 28th was the official 1 year mark, so we're a couple days past, but it's time to celebrate. Let's get loud for the devs of Riders Republic. They made it in their first year. So before we get into our highs and lows, our likes and dislikes of year one, let's talk about what we have received from the community update just a couple of days ago.
Yes, we found this after we were planning the episode, but they gave us a little teaser of what's to come in year 2 of Riders Republic. They announced Season 5 will start on December 14th, and it will be called Winter Wonderland, not Winterfest 2. It is Winter Wonderland. I'll have to check if anyone guessed that exact name.
I believe Flair did.
I think so. And they will have new events, exciting collaborations with new and returning brands. So we'll get some more brands in the game and a bunch of winter activities. After that, they're going to push the boundaries of outdoor sports with Season 6, including a new, exciting, and never before seen toy. And then they'll also have events, outfits, and renew weekly challenges. So they might be changing that format a little bit. They do say that they will give us more details, hints, and teasers on all of that in the coming weeks. So I would expect a year 2 pass video or picture or something, a roadmap.
Yeah. It's got to be coming soon. They're going to hit it before the holiday rush for sure. If not the holiday push, like Black Friday to, the Christmas season. It does say that we have a date for when Season 5 will start. That's going to be December 14th of 2022. So keep an eye out for that. Just over 2 months out from Season 5. So yeah, we will be seeing information on this flying in the next couple of weeks. Now, they do say that there is an exciting, never before seen toy. I don't know what that could be. I really don't. I have after all of the predictions, after everything that we've done for the past however many weeks, I don't know what that, I don't know what to predict or to guess at least.
I don't know if they're pushing the boundaries of outdoor sports and then also bringing a new funky. Is the funky pushing or the toy pushing the boundary, or I don't know if in my head, are they going the direction of dirt bikes and then there's also a cool funky, or is the dirt bike the cool funky and nothing else changes? I don't know.
Yeah, right. No, it's a great question. I can't wait to see what is included with Season 6. Again, season 5, Winter Wonderland, premiering December 14th. We'll have more information as it comes out. There's also an anniversary celebration planned. We will have more information in the coming weeks on when and where that will be taking place, but we can probably assume it will be something going on in the Ridge, or at least have a teleport spot in the Ridge. So make sure you're logging in once, twice, 3 times a week. Just keeping tabs. Make sure you don't miss the anniversary celebration. I'm sure they're going to have some fun giveaways for the folks that attend that celly. So stay tuned to that. And again, we'll let you know as we learn.
And
yes, and
before you transitioned, Lucas Skip guessed the name Winter Wonderland, and he guessed the snow bike will be there. Better have a replay mode, and his season 2 is Showdown 2, so he did not get that part right. So we can only trust him for the first part.
Well, we don't know. We don't know what season 2 looks like. Season 6 will be season 2, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have a name for that yet. So he might be batting 1,000 here in the next couple of months. Remains to be seen. But while we are here, just to start off real quick, I'll say it and we'll move on. Mitch, we have hit 50 episodes of the Riders Report, and we have also hit 1 year of the game. Taking those 2 weeks off, missing that 52-year mark because we decided to schedule our vacations at the same exact time, but you live and you learn. 50 episodes down and 1 game down, 1 year down for the game. So enough of me talking. Let's get into it. The highs and lows of year 1. You need to think way, way, way back to last October. And we just need to discuss what we liked, what we wanted to see improve. Did anything dramatic improve in the game? I think it did. But let's dive into our thoughts on year 1 of Riders Republic.
All right. And I think easiest way is just like one like or one thing we love, major takeaway, and then same thing with a dislike, and then our hope for year 2, which we did a bit with our season passes. But I think the thing I like most about Riders Republic so far is the platform they're building for it, if that makes sense. There's definitely some downsides and like weird decisions, but I like the map and I like the sports and like the general direction of the game. Some of the sports like bikes was a grand slam to me. They're so much fun. I play mostly bikes, not even the winter sports. So the bikes are a ton of fun. The BMX was a great addition. I like more of the outfits and being able to emote, and it being a more social game than Steep. It's fun to get on and like kind of cruise around and see what's going on.
Yeah, no, 100%. That was one of my biggest ones as well, was the multiplayer, the community atmosphere of Riders Republic. I think there can be better ways to interact in terms of streaming and just, best ways to capture the content in the game, obviously. But it's just what we're based on now is replay mode, please. Director's mode, please. But I do love the dynamic mountains. I love the dynamic platform that they have. Like you said, Mitch, they have different things coming in, different events that you can only catch through a certain time period, different swag. It feels like a real life world. It feels like a meta universe almost. They're trying to build around this adventure sports game. So I think that, that would be the biggest part of it. It's a wonderful social platform inside of a video game, but that's not to say that improvements can't be made.
Yeah, it feels more alive in some ways.
Yeah,
definitely more alive than Steep, but in like other games too. But like you said too, there's ways where it still doesn't feel like you're interacting as much as you could be, especially in a sports game like this. There's all the bots roaming around, but actual players, like you don't have as many. It was more special, I think, when you ran into a player in Steep.
Yes, because
the mountain was so quiet.
Yeah,
and happen upon someone, and then you'd both, like, without talking to each other, kind of cruise the same place for a while or follow. Riders Republic now, there's 1,000 bots, and you see a few riders that are zipping around too quick to follow after.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I was going to say there is some like uncanny valley-ness to it where Steep felt very isolated, but that's because it was. A lot of that game was isolation and enjoying the mountain by yourself. If you were able to party with a friend, then you're riding with a friend. But like you said, when you found someone on the mountain, when you're just in the middle of a session, you would have that little interaction of like, how do we do things? Do we emote? Do we ride together? Do we not? Do I try and torch his run? It was a lot of fun. It was a very special moment to have that encounter. But the focus was on the exploration and the solitudeness of that game. But yeah, riders, it almost feels like there is too much AI running around in the game at certain points. One of the things might be to put a slider on like how many interactions you get within a square mile. You know, how many bots is the game creating for you? Because it does at certain times, it feels really congested for no good reason. And then sometimes I miss a rider. You know, I'll miss a username that goes by because I'm so used to seeing so much pass me up. But those are all very little things. Semantics does nothing for the gameplay, just for aesthetics. All right, so it's safe to say that we both love the interactions and the kind of the idea, the roadmap that we're seeing within Riders Republic. It's not perfect. Of course, it's not perfect. Games that try to tackle multiplayer interactions like this one, I think of like Death Stranding. It is a very difficult thing to do. To give you the space, but also give you the interactions that you need is a very fine balance. So they're still going to be wheeling that in, and I put money on it. They're probably still going to be reeling that in at the end of season 2 here. So not the biggest, like, you should be fixing this. We know it's a work in progress. I can't speak today. But yeah, I mean, that really shined through how easy it was to communicate with other people in this game. And they do have very Fall Guys like elements of, hey, join the mass race. It's happening right now. Oh my gosh, I need to join the mass race. Let's go. So there are a lot of elements to bring the community together in this game. So yeah, I agree. It's the biggest takeaway from year one, especially coming right off of Steep. But we do need to balance the scales. And we need to talk about our dislikes, or at least things that the game could have done better or can do better in the future.
And I think my biggest, I'd say, dislike or what's missing, when we've talked before, like we play the game a lot less than when it was first released. And they need to focus on community content and like creation tools for people, not just the replay mode and director mode. That's a huge thing for us. But I think designing challenges too, and races and park editors, that kind of thing will bring, I think, people back to the game a lot quicker. Because when you see a lot of these sports games, you either see the very technical games like Skater XL, where you have to master that game to make things look good, and people will spend hours mastering a trick on a park bench. Or if you have a game like Riders Republic where the tricks are simple, you then need constantly new parks and new things to hit because the physics and the gameplay are simpler.
Right.
You need just like an infinite amount of stuff.
Yeah, exactly right. Creators need to be able to push the boundaries of what they can do and what the game can handle. And like you said it perfectly. The trick features and the functionality of the tricks is on the simpler side from other technical adventure sports games, where you do need that terrain to be able to change and to be dynamic. I'll say it again. I said it a couple weeks ago. Just look at GTA. The minute that they allowed sandbox creation of races, the game blew up again. What's the one? Almost every single time I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram Reels, whatever it is, what are you seeing? Someone trying to thread the needle somewhere in GTA. Every single time. But stuff like that, where, you know, a creator, Ian Hawke, can put a massive jump in the middle of the lodge and say, try and get a hole in one. First person to do it, you know, you get whatever else. That is so easy to do. And it will keep those creative riders coming back and challenging the best in the game to do things completely different. There's only so much that you can do in the game. There's only so much that you can ride and so much that you can perfect without having the ability to push that limit.
Exactly. And like you said, GTA does it fantastic with how you can just place all the props. We got something like that in the BMX where you had that 2D map where they just had a bunch of shipping crates in the sky. That's what people need. Those obstacle courses and stunts when we first got Riders Republic, where you're on the slopestyle bike and trying to hop from platform to platform and ride on skinny trees and twigs. We need thousands of those, and creators can do that for you.
You're here.
And then I would play that game nonstop because it's basically Trials Fusion with pedal bikes instead of motorbikes.
Right.
And that kind of thing, I think, would kind of take this to the next level.
So, I mean, and boy, we can get into a whole side discussion. Does that then detract? Does that become the entire game? Because in our realm, I would argue yes. That, you know, there's there are pros and cons to putting those features and giving the riders that freedom. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to lose the heart of the game, what they're going after. And I fear that if we go too far down that path, then it will just become a sandbox adventure game where no one will be riding the regular map. No one will care about the updates. They're just going to use their bike on this location that this creator came up with. I don't know. I don't know where they go from there.
We'll have that philosophical debate, I think, in a later episode when we need a topic again. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it's, I would like to see one of my dislikes, and not so much me, just in general. It has seemed like this game has gone to the bikes. 110%. Everyone that you see in this game is on a bike, some sort of bike. I don't know if there's a way to give incentive for riding other sports, but the last thing I want to see is a lot of effort, a lot of cool stuff in this game go by the wayside just because this becomes the next mountain bike game. So some way to kind of, even the playing field and make sure that we don't lose the actual snow sports would be my one thing. Like, all right, we have all of the bikes that we know of for now. Let's take a step back and let's focus on these snow sports and get them to that same level. How do we do that? Even if it is like a mountain board or something like, a more terrain versed vehicle that kind of rides like a snowboard or skis. Just kind of getting all of those other elements, because right now it really feels like the community just cares about bikes.
Yeah, and I think part of that is because with bikes, you can do a lot of cool stuff in flat sections and on kind of all the man-made objects that are around the map. All of the snow locations are mountains. So you have Mammoth City, but like the Tetons, there's the races and the Red Bull event, but there's not much else. There's events, but there's no incentive to go over there. Like, you can only do a little bit of mountain riding, and since you don't have the hard technical tricks like you could in Steep, where you could go crazy in the mountains and do technical tricks, you have basic arcadey tricks in an empty mountain. So I think that's why a lot of people are kind of pushed away.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. So do you just plaster events on those mountains, or do you do like Mitch said and you put a creator tool in there, a sandbox tool, and you allow people to use different terrains or different features for different sports? So in order to do a loop-de-loop, you need to be on skis. That's very dramatic, but something along those lines of like, whoa, okay, snow sports have a massive landing airbag that you can place. So let's grab the snow sports and let's use that airbag for some content. Can't do that with the bike. The bike's offering you a corkscrew that you can place, wherever else. Crazy, ridiculous ideas. But yeah, nonetheless important. I just don't want to see those go by the wayside and this game go, too one-sided when it is very multifaceted, and should be embraced for them tackling so many sports all at once. Hopefully this season 6 funky, or this season 6 toy, is something completely different that just adds to that arsenal. I can't stop thinking about it.
We'll have to do a guessing pool on what that thing is, and specifically what the exciting and never before seen toy is.
Yeah, I can't wait. We'll put that together in the coming weeks. So as we wrap up year 1 of Riders Republic, any last comments, suggestions? I think the devs know that we want a director mode. We want some sort of replay editor, along with a park editor or a sandbox mode in the game. But anything else that you need to look them right in the eye and let them know before we move into year 2 here?
No, I think we kind of covered our hopes with those dislikes. I think
constructive criticism.
Yeah, I think the community has been asking for that stuff, but I think when you asked whether they should spend more time creating challenges or spend more time creating sports and or the tools, I think if you give the creators the tools to create the fun challenges, then the devs can spend less time focusing on that when they're bringing new content. So instead of having to come up with new sports and new events and new things to do, they can just wait 3 months and say, here's roller skating. have fun, and then just add more and more sports until it's like the sports sandbox where everyone can do all the multiplayer and the races and stuff.
Right. Yeah. And then you start sanctioning, players build professional maps. They build very watertight maps. You put those as an official verified map of Riders Republic, and then boom, you have a competition field. Let's go roller skate racing. Top 10 winners, top 100 winners in the nation will win whatever else. So yeah, lift of a pinky there. I mean, it's a heavy lift. Let's be real. That's a lot to put all of those elements in the game to allow players to pretty much try and break your game every single time they load it. But that is a very ambitious outlook into season 2 and where this game could head. Let us know down below what you think the game did well in year 1 and what they could improve on in year 2. We can't wait to hear what you have to say. And as always, just a reminder, the devs are watching. So please put all of your comments down below so we can share it with Ubisoft Direct. This week's Riders Roundup is brought to you by the cell shading Halloween visual effect that they put in the game and are not allowing anybody to get rid of. Hollow Endeavor, our first clip of the day, does not have cell shading, but the last 2 do. So buckle up. Here we go. From Hollow Endeavor, the smoothest BMX clips at Area 52.
Yes, he is just, crushing the BMX in this area. I imagine he's probably spent all of his time here since it released. Yeah. So, I mean, he's just nailed some of these tricks, especially this Red Bull Uncontained, I think it's called. Trying to remember the challenge. That place is cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, all of these lines are very tasty, very pre-planned and thought through. Yeah, just a wonderful demolition of Area 52 by Hollow Endeavor. Now it's time to get a little spooky. We are recording this week on Halloween on October 31st. So what you're seeing right now will be going away shortly, but it's the cell shading featured in Low Key Gaming's How to Find Every Hatch Location video.
It was one of the weekly challenges, so it may be gone, but the hatches might still remain. I don't know what they're doing with the zombies and everything. Loki has had a few different videos, though, talking over like how you can find some stuff in the game. So just want to show off some of the really cool stuff he's making.
Yeah, give him a follow. His informative videos, his information videos are on point. Talking about someone else who is on point consistently, it's one of our competitors from this past weekend's TFG Director Mode, Ian Hawk BMX. Again, with the cell shading that'll be playing in the background as we end this week's video.
Yeah, and he, I'm surprised to see him off the BMX, to be honest, but I guess the snow skate is enticing enough, and oh my goodness, he's going to hit he just hit a chairlift gap. I'm done watching this.
Give up. I mean, the snow skate is not even out. I think it's just now getting out to the general public, and Ian's just throwing down absolute filth. But that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Riders Report, episode 50. Of the Riders Report. Only 50 more guaranteed episodes to go.
Oh man, we have something cool planned for episode 100 too. We do say that a lot though. Very special thanks goes out to our YouTube members, of course, executive producers Bone Crusher 2D, Coach 34, and my mom, our co-producers, Fans and Fans Plus. If you want to be like those cool cats, you can hit join down below to get early access to the show. They also got to see the early intro edit for Director Mode this weekend, and then a ton of other stuff that's down below.
Yes, you can also just subscribe to the channel down there for absolutely free to make sure that you stay up to date on all of our Riders Republic content, including this show and, like Mitch just said, our TFG events, those X Games style competitions we host every month or so, probably every other month at this point. But yes, if you have not caught it, TFG Director Mode now live on the channel. Go give that a watch and make sure, if you are watching this before, let me do some quick math, calendar, save me. If you are watching this video fresh before November 7th, 2022, please go and submit your fan vote to vote for your favorite rider of the day. But we will have the fan vote winner of that contest for you at the top of next week's episode 51 of the Riders Report. Stay steezy. Until then, I'm Nick.
And I'm Mitch.
And we'll see you on the slopes.